Fab secrets revealed. Coming up. So in this project, we got a stainless steel countertop, integrated sink to 12 by 12. It's going to be used for ice cream utensils. Got some welding here that's got to be done on this corner section that I didn't want to break up on the brake, and gonna tack that up. Just a simple corner weld, but I do have a video out there. Maybe I'll put a tag up there at the top on how to polish an outside corner weld, and which is what I'll do here. I'll end up tacking this up here and welding this out. This is a countertop for Betty's in Douglas, Kansas. If you're ever driving through, be sure to stop and get a burger. Best burger joint in Kansas. And I'm using aluminum blocks here on the top and the bottom. And I do have a video on how to prevent warpage, which I go into a little bit more in depth on, you know, the use of these and how to prevent warpage. That's what I'm using them here for. Welding this out. This is all we're going to see of this corner. You guys want to see how the sink's built, I know. So we got a 12 by 12 sink here. And we're going to add some cross breaks here to help with drainage. And I've got it marked out where I put my jig to stamp the center part for the sink drain. And just avoiding those, putting the cross breaks. And now I actually built this table here for this specific purpose. This is a 1-inch round bar, but I'm hammering the edges over that 1-inch bar, and the stretch out on each one of these radiuses here, a quarter radius, is about 7/16, and I just mark it and put it up there and hammer it down. And you can hear it when it you know, when you got it flat up against the metal. You know, a blacksmith will tell you that, you know, you can hear it when it's up against the metal. You know, when there's no air behind it, you can actually hear it. Now this here, we're up at the metal shop, and I'm using a my die that I've made, and I'm not a machinist. I'd like to get a little bit more into machining, but so I just made this die out of multiple pieces of material and just welded it together. And so it's actually kind of air bending. So in this, I tried to make it to where it like actually matched the profile up, you know, on the top and the bottom at one time when I first did this. But then I realized, well, wait a second here, you know, I can actually have a gap in between. You know, I don't need to actually match the profile, and so it's almost like air bending. You can look that up, and that's the profile there. I got some extra little notches here because at one time I figured out that the hole should be a little bit bigger to fit all different types of drains, and so I just grinded those little notches out that kind of fit make the die fit what I have. I also made these specialized radius die. Oh, I'm not sure what you'd call them. I guess they're, you know, fingers, I guess, for a brake. And it's a 1/2 inch radius, And it takes really 2 breaks to break this. I got the angle on the front of the leaf there, as you can see, but kind of do 1 break and then pull it out a little bit and then break it up a second time. And this will do about 6 inches without having to pull the sides out. You can do a little bit more if you pull the sides out, or if you put it to one side or the other. You can get 3 sides, probably out to 8 inches, and then you know, the last side you kind of gotta pull the sides out a little bit. But this is a 6-inch deep sink, so there's no problem at all. Now once you get it bent up, you're gonna have it slightly offset at the top, and that's all you gotta do right there, is just kind of hang it over a piece of metal, mallet it down on the side that's low, and you know, get those even at the top, tack it up. And this is another part of this table that we seen earlier. I put these on the end here, and so you got it tacked up, and I'm just kind of cleaning off the surface, making sure there's no rust on there. That's just steel there, so I want to make sure it's kind of smooth and clean it off. All I had was Windex, but you could use something like alcohol or mineral spirits or something like that. Just make sure it's clean. Try not to contaminate the stainless steel. And I'm just going to planish these corners. Same thing, you're kind of listening to the metal, and you can really tell the difference between, you know, when there's air behind the metal and when you're metal to metal. So just kind of forming this here at each corner, make sure we got that consistent radius. And this is really important for when you're polishing, you know, because you don't want to polish, you don't want to remove any more material than you have to, guys. So, and you don't want to spend any more time polishing than you have to. So it's very important that you get it formed right. Now this is a specialized tool right here. You know, this might get my ex-wife excited looking at this tool, but this is just a tool that's just gonna, again, make these corners a little bit rounded. I don't know if you can see it there, but actually the layout of, you know, these corners, it would almost be kind of like a banana, but I leave a little bit more material on there after, you know, some experimentation, and then use this tool to kind of flatten it out to the radius there, a half-inch radius, 1-inch diameter. That's what all this is, guys. And then you're going to, like I was saying, with the polishing, you're going to want it to as close to the finished surface as you know it can get before you start grinding, and then you'll be able to remove less material, you know, which is ideal. Obviously, this is a 14 gauge sink. Little plug here for Lambton Welding Supply. But what we got going on here is we're setting up a little jig to purge the inside, and then I'm just welding this sink from the outside only, guys, and really just fusing it. So really don't need to add any rod. You know, when you're looking at this right here and you're trying to get full penetration, you're kind of looking at the puddle, and when the puddle starts to get a little bit erratic, that's when you're getting full penetration, where it's just liquid all the way through. So now we're here ready to polish, and I'm using a Dynabraid Dynafile here, and they have different arms, and this arm right here is, you guessed it, a half-inch radius, 1-inch diameter. Fits exactly what we're working with right here. So, you know, it's kind of the tools and the sink are designed around each other. You know, they're designed to work with each other, and it makes the whole job easier. So first, we're doing that with the 1-inch diameter sanding belt, and we got this here, and we're left with right there in the corners a little bit left. Well, you got to switch to a smaller diameter arm, and you can reach in there and kind of grind that out. And so we're just working with the sanding belt right now. But then, you know, after you get all that, then go back to a conditioning belt. You just barely seen it, but like a red Scotch-Brite conditioning belt right there, and make it look nice. Now, I just kind of hurried up and cut out this countertop and the sink. I couldn't quite remember whether I made the sinks in the past ID or OD, so I just cut out a hole in this countertop, 12 by 12, but then I realized after putting the sink together that was the ID. So I needed to remove about the thickness of the material, 14 gauge, 75 thou. Need to remove that from each side. So just using a straight edge here made out of stainless steel flat bar and grinding up to the straight edge. Did that on all 4 sides. Now here I'm using this little jig here that we used earlier for purging, and putting that 1/4 inch threaded rod in there and putting it through a hole on a piece of aluminum that's stretched across the countertop, and pulling that sink up and using it for tacking. So that's a pretty good little trick right there. And so we got it all tacked up, and again here using aluminum blocks. These got a little radius, so these are specialized just for this purpose. You know, that's what you're going to want to do. And so I'll weld this up, and I'm going to use compressed air to cool it off. You know, we're going to want to keep our material cool at all times. And like I said, I got a video on how to prevent warpage in stainless steel. You know, if you're interested, check that out. I hope you guys are doing alright tonight. I'm just smoking a cigar watching this video, giving you a little bit of input here. Right there, using compressed air, keeping that material cool, guys. And once again, right here, using a 1-inch diameter, this is probably like 80 grit or something, getting in those corners. It's you know, this is just with a regular drill, but it's a 1-inch diameter wheel. You know, you can see why you would go with 1 inch. You know, it's common. So you want radius corners in your sink. You know, why not go with something that's common, 1 inch? You know, radius. We're taping it off. That tape gives you just a guideline, you know, and so you're using the Dynafile right here, going up to the tape. I didn't get it on video, but I did end up using a Dyna shear, which is a wide belt burnishing tool. Used it on there, used it on the sink. That's all done, guys. And I did, there is a little bit of color on there. I used the Surefox machine to take off the color on this particular project. Be sure to check out my video on how to remove the stainless steel color from welds, and like and share this with a friend, guys. I totally appreciate it. We'll see you on the next video. We got a video coming up about an oven stand for beddings again, and a copper range hood. So stay tuned, guys.